As far as building your wireless networks, there's really three ways to do it. If you just have two or three or several clients that want to connect to each other, you actually can do this without any form of infrastructure using a IBSS type network, which stands for Independent Basic Service Set. This allows a client to create an ad hoc network from client to client and create a file transfer type network between clients. You generally don't want this running inside your enterprise, which is one of the things why you want to build an IPS type solution for your wireless network to avoid any kind of unauthorized IBSS type connections within your enterprise. In infrastructure mode, we essentially have two methods of doing infrastructure mode. One would be a single access point, which is a basic service set. So all the clients use a single access point, and that single access point is connected to the wired network. In a larger enterprise environment, we have an extended service set type scenario where we have multiple access points, and we allow our clients to roam from one access point connection to another access point connection through the network. So to give an example of that, in this case we have a laptop connected to a wireless access point, and the wireless access point is advertising out that it's on channel 1. All the users that would be attaching to this would all be connecting via channel 1. Assuming, of course, that none of the other enterprises in our vicinity were using that same channel 1, we shouldn't have any problems. The interesting thing comes when we have too many clients associated to this access point, or the range of this access point isn't enough to cover the area that we want to cover, in which case we have to switch to a extended wireless access coverage area by putting in another access point. In this case, what we're showing is we're adding channel 11, which is a non-overlapping channel here. We've got some overlap between the two cells, but because they're talking on different channels, as a client was roaming from one wireless cell to the other wireless cell, as it went from one to the other, it would realize it has a better signal with one access point versus the other and would switch over. The key here is that the service set identifier, or SSID, has to be the same on both of these access points to allow a client to roam from one to another. This is actually a very, very deep topic as far as wireless roaming, and can be a very challenging thing to do within your network. Usually you'd want to do something like setting up a wireless LAN controller or some other back-end engine to handle this kind of roaming situation. And it's not something you're usually going to run into until you start deploying really interesting things like wireless scanners for your inventory inside a large warehouse, or if you're doing voice over IP over wireless handsets, can the roaming issue really become a challenge in your network? So if you want to know where to get more information on this, again, I mentioned the wireless section of the new BCMSN course is very detailed as far as handling wireless roaming, either in a layer 2 environment or even worse in a layer 3 environment as we roam across wireless networks that actually traverse different routers. So again, this is more of a chapter for me to introduce enterprise wireless, not really for me to teach you how to set it up and to configure it.